And welcome inside the Backstage Pass. It is Tuesday, almost the midweek, the second week of the new year. Happy 2023 to everybody. Off to a good start. Hope everybody's doing well and back to work. And all those New Year's resolutions are, I guess, paying off as best they can to now. We're presented by our friends over at Bangtail Whiskey. The official whiskey sponsor of the Backstage Pass is now available at Total Wine Nashville. And of course, check them out. And you get it actually at bangtail.com or easyliquor.com. Also, our friends at Honky Tonk Texas, great promotional schedule out there, building their concert series here. Southeast Texas' number one dance hall, Honky Tonk Texas, honkytonktexas.us for more information there. Yours truly alongside, of course, the co-host, Kirsty Krause, CJ Garton, be coming back over the next few days and weeks here on the show. Pleased to welcome in a good friend of mine and a good friend of the podcast, too, and her music out there is needs no explanation, but I love them. I'll give you one anyway. Not in This Heartbreak is the current single out there. It just hit last week on Friday of 2023. It's the band along with Morgan White. What's going on?
Hey, how are you doing?
Staying busy, which is good for this week. You know, getting back in the swing of things a little bit after the time off for the Christmas holidays. So I'm going to kind of start right there. How were the holidays for you and Christmas and all that good stuff?
The holidays was good. We had it off this year. It's not every now and then that I don't have a show for New Year's. So we had that off this year, and we kind of just sit back and enjoyed the holidays and was getting ready for this crazy ride with this new single and getting really busy here.
I love that too. Any kind of family holiday traditions in the White household that you guys did?
Well, my husband won't like me to say this, but I make him. I'm one of those like everybody wears the matching pajamas. That, and then I make sure that they're like the ugliest pajamas you could ever imagine. Go from house to house with that. So
I like that. When it came to being around the table, I know we had a little bit extra everything with the turkey, the ham, and of course different foods there too. Some menudo actually one day too. Any good foods you got to eat?
Oh Lord, yeah. I'm a Southern girl. We had great food.
Which is good, no doubt. What was your favorite dish?
I'm a ham girl. I don't like turkey. So, like, even at Thanksgiving, I make sure that they make a ham. So I love ham, and I love, mashed potatoes and baked beans and rolls and all that bad stuff that you're not supposed to have.
Yeah. So the carb crash. Well, I tell you, we took some naps over my holiday break there too when it came to that carb crash. So it's always good. The stuff you're not supposed to have, but you're going to eat anyway because it's bad for you. But boy, it's good when you're eating it, no doubt too. Well, hey, New Year brings kind of a new attitude. Those resolutions I talked about for everybody. What, as you sit back and look at the last time since I know we talked, it's been a while, but looking back over these past couple of years, what are you most excited about for this new year?
The new single. Absolutely, new single. We're excited. We just left Nashville. The last show we played was in October, and we were actually at the Grand Ole Opry, and we played JMA Fest for the Josie Music Awards, and we ended up taking home Single of the Year for Take Me, my last single. So this year we're hoping to do that again, and getting ready to start a radio tour and all of that good stuff, and get out there booking shows. So we're excited. Got a lot going on here.
Yeah, full steam ahead. Hey, take me back to when you and I met, because I started this show. I'm coming up on my 4-year anniversary with this show. Actually, this weekend will be 4 years. I've been doing this whole podcast thing. But we met, I think, through Good Thing Gone, which kind of got really, you had songs out even before that. But that was a single that kind of caught people's attention in a way that, like, this girl's for real. Take her seriously. She's going somewhere. Just stick with her. But that single still is very special to a lot of your fans in music today and people, your followers too, right?
Absolutely. Good Thing Gone. It was a big point in my career because apart from a songwriter myself, to be able to be pitched songs that's written by people like Carly Pearce, that's that I would get an opportunity to do that. So Good Thing Gone is definitely a highlight in my career and a big moment for me. And I, hope I did the song justice. I loved the song from the moment I heard it and knew that it was definitely something that I wanted to record. So yeah, we still jam out to Good Thing Gone. It's still part of our show. It's one of my favorite shows favorite songs to play.
When you look at this female movement, now when you talked about Carly and of course all the great people, Megan Patrick, and just a number of females, Ashley McBride, all these females that are doing their thing out there with this movement of country now. And I love it too, because now you're starting to see more of these gals kind of come into that forefront, kind of come from that back burner and get pushed out there even more about their music, their brand, their camps, their personality. Just a good thing for country music. I think this is a good thing for the industry too at the same time, because this is a really good women's movement now. Stephanie Quayle also too.
Absolutely. The ladies are killing it right now, and I couldn't be happier about that. We've got some amazing up and coming talent, and a lot of female artists that I know that I'm friends with, and we just kind of support each other and push each other's music out there. And the women are really bringing their A game this time.
I love it too, which is a great movement, because I remember back in the 90s, it was always, male dominated. Of course, you heard from XYZ, ABC across the board when it came to, this guy out or this band out. But I love this women movement. It's great for the industry, no doubt. Well, Not in This Heartbreak is the current single, came out last Friday. You guys mentioned you're pushing that to radio, so definitely wish you the best of luck to that. It's a smash for a song. I love it so much. I had to have you back here to sing it, talk about it, the whole 9 yards. So it is. I'm gonna hand it over to you. It's all yours. That band's ready to play, because they're like, Brandon, shut up, let's go, let her sing, and we're gonna go from there. It's all yours.
All right. Let me all right. Y'all ready?
Spare batteries.
Walking out the door in the dead of the night, and you're waiting on baby to cry. But don't hold your breath, 'cause you wind up dead. You're thinking this isn't goodbye. But I have more than through with you. No phone calls, no one dead. If you want the cold hard truth, I can do me all by myself. Now you're playing like a baller, but you just walk down the wrong girl. My therapist won't get tired of checking with my mind, and it's fine. I won't stay home wondering where I'm sleeping at night. I won't think down to nothing. I got fire inside. Not gonna double, not gonna fuck, not gonna lose it this time. Not this time, not this time. No fool, no shade, not this heartbreak. You can guess who you like in your fantasy dreams. It really don't matter to me. You can run your mouth all over the South, show your face and let them see it for free. I won't stay home wondering where you're sleeping at night. I won't sink down to nothing. I got fire inside. Not gonna crumble, not gonna fall, not gonna lose it this time. Not this time, not this time. No fool, no shade, not this heartbreak. Not this heartbreak. Oh, 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 yeah. Now you're playing like a baller. My therapist won't get a dollar. Checked in with my mind, and it's fine. I won't stay home wondering where you're sleeping at night. I won't sink down to nothing. I got fire inside. Not gonna crumble, not gonna fall, not gonna lose it this time. Not this time, not this time. No fool, no shade, not this heartbreak. Na 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 na.
I love it. I could hear her vocals all day long. I was just kind of jamming there in the background. That's what the delay was here on the show, because I just love her. Get lost in the music there. Morgan White and Not in This Heartbreak, which is the current single getting ready to be pushed to radio. Came out last Friday, so make sure you guys go download that and get that across all the digital platforms. We're just getting started here, of course. Got to take a quick time out for our friends over at Banktail Whiskey, the official whiskey of the Backstage Pass, and of course, the official sponsor of CRS 2023. We'll be there March 13 to 15 at the Omni Hotel in the beautiful Nashville, Tennessee. And I'm glad they moved it to March this year, because I think the weather's going to be a lot nicer, and you might be there, and we might actually get to meet up for the first time. So I'm looking forward to that too as well. And I'd love to meet you in person there in Nashville, March 13 to 15. Also, thanks to Honky Tonk Texas out there too. HonkyTonkTexas.us if you're down here in my neck of the woods for the concert series. Coming right back with Morgan White. We got some more songs to talk about. And, of course, I know there's more on the agenda for 2023. More to come. Hang tight.
The Bangtail Pour is comprised of a sweet corn mash base. The front has a subtle sweetness and not too sharp. It has notes of a medium char or white oak for a smoky flavor in the middle, and the tail has a super smooth and warm finish.
Go behind the scenes with some of the biggest artists in music today with the Backstage Pass, powered by the SportsGuysPodcast.com. Join Brandon Morrill and his co-host Kirsty Krause as they talk to rising stars and legends about their music careers. Listen to their latest tracks and learn fun facts about the men and women behind the music you love. And be sure to tune into the Backstage Pass Monday through Friday from 3:30 to 6:30, powered by the SportsGuysPodcast.com. And welcome into the Backstage Pass.
And back here on the show again, Morgan White joining us here on the Backstage Pass Tuesday, January the 10th, I should say, almost at the 13th, because that's Friday coming up this week. Presented by our friends over at Bangtail Whiskey and Honky Tonk Texas. And, of course, tomorrow may have a surprise guest here on the show about 4 o'clock. You just got to stay tuned to find out who. I don't quite know yet, but I know once you hear who this is, you might want to tune in. I guess it'll be on the audio side, still working some kinks out. But next week, I can tell you, Pat Green is going to stop by. We'll talk some Texas country. And then on February 7th, I believe it is, Nashville recording artist Dylan Carmichael here on the Backstage Pass. So some good shows coming up here over the next few weeks. Hey, I wanted to go back to your single that really struck me too at the time, and I loved it so much I had to talk about it. Take Me, you mentioned the title. Tell me kind of how that one came together, how that song just really kind of, I guess, did it write itself? It's such a great song. I love it.
Well, Take Me, Take Me was pitched when Good Thing Gone was pitched. So I to make a choice there, and we went with Good Thing Gone, but Take Me, I literally sung that song in my sleep for about a year. So when it was time for another single, I immediately called my producer Sal, and I was like, I gotta have that song. I gotta have Take Me. And it was still available, and Kelly Bannon actually wrote Take Me, her and Scooter Bruce, and that's another amazing opportunity that I got. Really these new songs and stuff, it's really me as an artist. I love writing my own stuff, but I also love recording just a good song. So
when you mentioned write your own stuff, I'm always curious to kind of extrapolate on that a little bit, because I love the fact some people say, to write the songs and then they definitely see it come to life. It turns into something they always kind of dreamed of. And then there's that co-writing process. What do you kind of, is it a mix a little bit of what you enjoy the most, and kind of what's your favorite part of the writing process?
The writing process, I do enjoy it. My favorite part, of course, is to go to the studio and see it come to life. That is, because you hear it acoustically and you hear all these things in your head that you would like to do with the song, but then when you get a full band behind it in the studio, that's when it kind of just like takes its first breath and it comes to life, and that's one of my favorite parts of the whole process.
Now, I'm going to go back a little bit to, and I loved your self-titled album that you put out in 2017 out there. I thought 2 songs that I wanted to talk about. One was Move Your Body, which was another kind of a great lead off to that one too. And the second one was probably one of my favorites too, just because it had a message there. It was fun. It was kind of cool. A T-shirt kind of guy, which we'll start with Move Your Body a little bit for the first one. Tell us about that record. And I guess still today during the live shows, you still incorporate some of those songs into the set?
Absolutely, still incorporate them. Move Your Body, funny song or little tale about that is the night before I wrote that, I went to the Wild Horse Saloon, which was my first time there. So we line danced a little bit. I'm not the best dancer. And we line danced a little bit. And when we come in for the writing session the next day, we're kind of all throwing out ideals and stuff. And I mentioned that I had line danced that night. So they were like, let's write a song about line dancing, but, country bit. So that's kind of how Move Your Body come about. I move my body. Sometimes it's not right with the music, but
That's a funny story too. Line dancing turns into a song too. And then T-shirt kind of guy. I'm sure there's a good one for that one too, right?
T-shirt kind of guy is about my husband. He is a T-shirt kind of guy. We live here in West Virginia, so it's full of country boys, and they're not. They can be sharp dressed men when it comes to it. I mean, my husband walks the red carpet with me at the music awards, but day to day, he's my T-shirt kind of guy.
I love that. Another one that caught me on there too, I loved it, was Fast as I Can, which is toward the end of the album. Let's build on that a little bit too.
Fast as I Can. That came about. We had just opened for the Keith Urban pre-party, and we had performed, and we was getting everything, all the gear loaded up. And one of my good friends was standing beside me, and he told his buddy, said, hurry up. And he said, all right. He said, I'm coming. He said, I'll be there just as fast as I can. And I thought, well, that is a kind of a good tag for a song. So I kind of scribbled that down in my phone and, jotted it down in my notes. And the next day we wrote about it.
Amazing how those songs come together. No doubt about it, too. This year is going to be special for so many people. I know it's exciting, too, for mention about 2023, but I still love that old record, too. And I say old record, I mean like 5 years old, but 2017. If you guys want to check that out, it's her self-titled record she put out in 2017. There's 8 songs on that, so make sure you guys go check that out too as well. Let me ask you about this because I know this was definitely, it hit the industry hard. Last year, always losing the greats, and you mentioned, West Virginia. There, you talk about Coal Miner's Daughter, and where I'm going with this is losing the late great, just pioneer of country music. I think she's used so many adjectives here. Loretta Lynn, when you first had heard about the news, I know it affected you, affected me, and so many people that are in the industry like yourself and myself. Talk about just the loss there, but also just the legacy she left behind.
Well, Loretta Lynn, she is, she's one of those women that you really can't replace her. She brings so much to the industry. And I think what most people loved about Loretta is that she was just Loretta. It didn't matter how much fame or, how much fortune she had. She was still the same little girl that came out of Butcher Holler. And, I watched videos on Loretta when she accepted, her award at the CMA and made the joke that, Duke couldn't be there because he was gone hunting. People like that, like real people that you can talk to. And, that's one thing that I think Loretta, she definitely made her mark on this industry, because a lot of times it's not like that in the industry and you don't get to meet, the real person. And that's, one thing that I always try to pride myself on is I try to be, myself. I'm the same person on stage that I am in Walmart, in the cash, in the checkout. And, that I think that Loretta does that and Dolly does that really well. And, those women, they are the pioneers in our industry.
Yeah, and that's what's so great about it. It's tough to have the loss, but like I said, the legacy she leaves behind, and she was herself, no doubt. In fact, I went to a show last summer, and one of my greatest memories, I still have a picture signed by her, was Sister Crystal Gale performed here in my backyard. Got to meet her and talk to her a little bit. It's just the things that she said about her sister and kind of going through that, and coming up through that 70s, 80s domination of those decades, back then when that music was just off the charts. And that's what I grew up on too, just like you did, with that old school 80s, 90s, 70s country sound. That's just so amazing. It was an honor, and I still say that today. One of my memories I'll take with me in my grave is meeting the great Crystal Gale and getting to talk about the great Loretta Lynn, no doubt. I tell you what, I'm going to turn it back over to you guys too, because I know there's more music. What's up next?
Let's do a little Good Thing Gone. It's been a minute since you heard that. That's one of our favorites to do. So let's hit a little bit of that. And
I love it.
Past a little bit.
All right.
Spun me around like a weather vane. Honey, I have you figured out. If I knew then what I know now, wouldn't be back and forth, all in all, up and down, golden heart. You could have had a good thing going, real good thing going on. Baby, I hope you sleep good knowing that you got a good thing going. I've been broke down Now I'm a tumbleweed in the wind, 'cause I ain't never coming back again. All my kids, my legs, baby, you're gonna miss it. You could have good things going, real good things going on. Baby, I hope you sleep good knowing that you got a good thing, good thing going. Oh, a good thing, darling. You got a good thing going. You got a, baby, you got a good thing, good thing. Good thing going, a real good thing going on. Baby, I hope you sleep good knowing that you got a good thing, a good thing going, real good thing going on. Baby, I hope you sleep good knowing that you got a good thing, good thing.
I'm ready to honky talk right now too. Well, if you don't like country, I rephrase that. I guess you don't like that song. You don't like country music when it comes down to that. Morgan White back here on the Backstage Pass. It's like a little. I'm ready to line dance myself. Get to a club and have a good time and just enjoy those live shows. You make it just look flawless out there too. I love it. A great song there, available across all those digital platforms we talked about. Back here presented by our friends over at Bangtail Whiskey. Get it now, bangtail.com or easyliquor.com out there too, the official whiskey sponsor of the show. And of course, Honky Tonk Texas too as well. We'll take a quick time out. Still got rapid fire to do with Morgan. We'll find out more about some just little cool things out there too that may have happened over the holiday season, and of course some other interest, personal side of things. Coming back here, it is the Backstage Pass, again powered by the Sports Guys podcast.com as we count down to CRS 2023, March 13 to 15 in Nashville, Tennessee at the Omni Hotel, presented by our friends over at Bangtail Whiskey in Honky Tonk, Texas, and looking forward to interviewing Morgan and Nashville's best and brightest for those 4 or 5 days. Hang tight, more to come.
The Bangtail pour is comprised of a sweet corn mash base. The front has a subtle sweetness and not too sharp. It has notes of a medium char or white oak for a smoky flavor in the middle, and the tail has a super smooth and warm finish.
Go behind the scenes with some of the biggest artists in music today with the Backstage Pass, powered by the SportsGuysPodcast.com. Join Brandon Morrill and his co-host Kirsty Krause as they talk to rising stars and legends about their music careers. Listen to their latest tracks and learn fun facts about the men and women behind the music you love. And be sure to tune into the Backstage Pass Monday through Friday from 3:30 to 6:30, powered by the SportsGuysPodcast.com. And welcome into the Backstage Pass.
And back here on the show again, of course, next week, the legend Pat Green will join us here January 16th. It's kind of a matinee morning type thing, late, I think 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, somewhere there. So we'll get Pat to join us here, talk about his new album and what's going on in his camp. And here's a guy that's been doing it for over, 30 years, going strong too. So another great legend coming here on the show. And of course, surprise tomorrow. You just have to stick around and see who I'm talking about. I'll tell Morgan off the air who I'm talking about for tomorrow. But we should have her. Maybe by, some people kind of call in by phone, so it's like a surprise thing. So I'll tell you off the air, and you tell me if it's good or not. How's that? You make the judgment call about tomorrow. So I think I've hit a home run, but I can't release it until I get to, I've got confirmation. It's just a matter. I got to get your opinion first. Back here with Morgan White on the Backstage Pass, presented by our friends over at Bangtail Whiskey and Honky Tonk Texas out there too. You can check out our sponsors' information on our Facebook pages and of course the website out there too. All right, let me start with this one because I know this is always kind of a fun thing. These lotteries have been very high now, Mega Millions and these Powerball numbers. So if you hit one of those and it matched all 6 numbers and you played the ticket and got the cash option, what would you do with the money? What's the first thing?
Oh my gosh, that's hard. First of all, I would buy me a house in Nashville.
Okay.
Boys are saying bye bus.
Bus.
I mean, if it's got a B on it with a billion, I'm buying me a house somewhere tropical. I love the water when I'm not touring. Yeah, with a studio. See, Rod's got me here with a studio. I'm going to be by the water.
I'm with you on that too. Wife loves the beach, so definitely we could do that too. I'm also a mountain person, so I'd probably get me something like built in because I love Arizona and I love the West Coast. If I were to do that, so I'd probably get something kind of built on or kind of into the mountain where the road kind of takes you up to the house, and it's just a beautiful scenery because I love the West Coast out there. I love the Rockies. Been there several times. And let me ask you about this one here. When it comes to favorite foods, we talked about Christmas, but if you got one of those cravings and you're like, man, I'm going to go get this or this particular dish, what's a late night craving or something you cook? What do you like?
Well, the boys are teasing me saying Waffle House because they know I'm not a Waffle House. But my favorite food is I love hot dogs.
Mm-hmm.
I like finding, I like chili. I like hot dog chili. So, West, got to find those good.
Now, do you make a good chili? Let me ask you that.
My husband will say no. I say yes.
I guess we'll have to put it up for a vote and let you hey, bring some that week of CRS. If I have a little kitchen, if I get a hotel, depending on what I have, I'd like to get a little stove or something. I'd like to have a chili cook-off contest, a Morgan White with a little.
I can arrange that.
I'd like to have that. You're down there for that to do. Let me ask you about this one because I love doing this. Sometime it does take some thought. What about the title of the first song you ever wrote, or if you don't remember the title, what was the song about?
First song I ever wrote, I believe it was called Living for the Night, and I wrote it in about 45 minutes, and it was a song about some girls getting together with their girlfriends and going out on the town.
Look at that. The guy says sharp memory.
Back in my catalog, I released it. I might need to go back and revisit that.
I'd love to hear that one too, no doubt about it, which would be fantastic. All right, let me go stay with the food question. Let's stay with pizza. What toppings do you enjoy on pizza?
Oh, I'm a pepperoni and cheese girl. I don't like all that stuff on pizza. Just pepperoni. I'm good with that.
Plain, which is good. That's sometimes putting more toppings on it only ruins it. No doubt about it. Sometimes just the one topping is enough. All right, favorite beverage of choice: coffee, wine, beer, water. What do you drink?
Mountain Dew.
Man, she's like, this is like the best rapid fire. She's getting it out just with no having to think about it. Like I love that, which is a good thing there too. All right, I know you've stepped on some of the dream stages out there. We just saw my good friend, probably yours as well. She did well on The Voice, and they just had her Grand Ole Opry debut last week. Morgan Miles, is that the dream for a Morgan White? I love the Morgan connection for the Opry. Would you love to step on that stage too?
That is my dream. Now, I have been on the Opry stage 2 times.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't singing either time, but the first time was the first night that I got to go to the Opry when I was in Nashville. The musicians who had played on my album, they were actually playing the Opry that night. So they invited me backstage as their guest, and I got to sit on the pews on stage and watch the show. And while the curtain was down, I got to walk out there and stand in that circle. While the curtain was down, and it was a very surreal moment. And then, of course, this year, I walked on stage and accepted my award for singing here at the Grand Ole Opry. So both moments very special, but there is when I step in the circle to sing, that will be the moment.
I like that too. And I'm going to throw you a little curveball here. Like I said, on the show here, usually I don't do this, but today I'm feeling good. And we got some stuff to talk about off the air too as well. But how about you do one more for us? How about you play one more today?
One
like
more
a bonus. Song? Yeah.
You are a curveball.
I did throw you a curveball, didn't I?
All right, we'll do This Is Take Me. This won me single of the year.
Here we go.
Okay, you ready? 1, 2, 3, 4. I can't help getting dressed up when I know I'm gonna see you, and thinking what words I'll say when you come walking up. And like we don't both know there's a building fight, boy, don't make me a liar. Just take me over the line between you serenade. Though it's almost heaven, it's making me crazy. Come on, take me into your arms tonight. You won't have to take me. Don't just stand there asking all I've been waiting. Follow me, baby. You gotta take me, yeah. So many times we pushed each other out to the edge just right. Halfway saying everything I will say tonight. I hate myself for making it so dang easy, but I ain't giving up till you take me over the line between the yes and the day. Though it's almost heaven, it's making me crazy. Come on, take me into your arms tonight. You won't have to take me. Don't just stand there asking all baby. Follow me, baby. You gotta take me, yeah. I watch you moving slow, cutting through the crowd. I second guess until I see your memories now. Reach out and take me over the line between the yes and the maybe. Though it's almost heaven, making me crazy. Come on, take me into your arms and out of here, won't have to take me. Don't just stand there acting like I've been crazy. I'm a new baby. You gotta take me, yeah. You gotta take me.
Gotta love it. That was Single of the Year, Josie Music Awards, too, from Morgan White there. Take Me, which came out in 2021. You guys watch out. I said it back in, 2019. We met, too, as well. Look out, because there's a star on the rise here. As they say, a star is born. And it is continuing. I've made some bold predictions here on this very show. And I'd like to think after 4 years, I'd like to know a little bit about what I'm talking about when it comes to music and songs and things like that here. Back here, presented by Bangtail Whiskey and our friends over at Honky Tonk Texas. Of course, coming up tomorrow, surprise guest. And then this week, we'll finish out with a couple shows on Thursday, Friday, Pat Green next week, and a whole host of shows coming up leading up to February. And Dylan Carmichael coming here on the Backstage Pass, too, as well as we just continue to count down to CRS, March 13 to 15 in Nashville, Tennessee, presented by our friends over at Bangtail Whiskey and, of course, Honky Tonk Texas out there. Check out those websites now for our sponsors. They do a lot for us here on the program too. All right, I'm gonna finish up with this one too. We always say musicians never rest on their laurels. I know there's more music as you guys work this single to radio, which is Not in This Heartbreak, which is out there across all the digital platforms now for people to go grab and stream. Music is next. You can't really say titles, dates, things like that, but as I mentioned, never resting on their laurels. There's probably more in the can ready to go, right?
Absolutely.
That's all she.
Never know what I'm asleep.
Well, that's the truth. And I can't wait to get you back on the show just to hear more and more, because I do crave more when it comes down to it. Make sure you guys check out the single, Not in This Heartbreak. And, of course, check out MorganWhiteMusic.com for the tour dates, merchandise, all that good stuff out there. Morgan, sure appreciate the time. Always great to catch up. And then we'll talk more off the air. And definitely always just fun having you here on the program. You're always welcome back anytime. I always say you've got the parking reservation here on the show. You just pull up the band too, and we can hang out, drink beer, and play music and have a good time. Always thank you for being with us.
Thank you so much for having me, and we will see you soon.
Definitely will, no doubt. Probably at CRS coming up there March 13 to 15, Omni Hotel, Nashville, Tennessee. Always a fun time. It's our second year in a row to be a part of that, and love it, love it, love it. Always to get to meet some of the best people in the business and some of the best and brightest artists we get to talk to about their upcoming releases, things like that. Thanks to our sponsors over at Bangtail Whiskey and our friends at Honky Tonk Texas. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Surprise guest, possibly 4 o'clock. Stay tuned for that too as well. And then, of course, next week, Pat Green here on this very platform. We'll see you guys. Have a great night. Until then, take care.